I'm going to show you a gag that I storyboarded for Kung Fu Panda 4 that gave me a lot of trouble in terms of the cutting and the staging of it. Here's the very first version of the gag that I boarded. Po and Jen are walking through the seedy underbelly of a big city. Po's acting all tough. I think I can handle some common thieves. Jen turns to him and says, oh yeah, well, a couple of monkeys just stole your pants. Huh? We're going to cut, and we're going to see naked Po without his pants as Jen walks away. Here's a couple issues I ran into right away. Kung Fu Panda movies use the 2:3:5 aspect ratio. There's so much more space and so many more things for you to be looking at that are going to draw your eye away from the pop of that gag on the cut, especially now that we have Jen walking. Watch this. On the cut, tell me where your eye goes. See how your eye gets drawn away from Po and then back to him. Our eyes are attracted to contrast, motion, and faces. Because all the faces are tiny in here, the biggest thing that's going to draw our eye is Jen walking. Which means you're not going to get the maximum impact of a cut to naked Po, which is funny and what we want. My next thought was, maybe we don't need to cut as wide on the gag, and we can be a little bit closer, and that way Po will be bigger on frame. Here's what that looks like. Guess what? A couple monkeys just stole your pants. He reacts, and then we cut. Look at how it feels a little bit like a jump cut. It's how close Po is here, and he's kind of the same size here and a similar angle. So I boarded that version, and then I was like, hey, you know what? This actually feels like a step backwards. So I do want to use this wide version, but what else could I do to avoid having our eye drawn away from the gag by Jen walking? The next thing I did was draw some foreground elements. One of the things I really like about this is that on the cut, I used this barrel in the foreground to get rid of her faster than in this other version where our eye tracks with her for even longer, right? Pulling her eye all the way to the other side of the frame, which again is killing the gag of just being focused on naked Po. I added a couple more foreground elements, another barrel of spears, and I even used that foreground element to add sort of an extra layer to the joke, which is to have one spear sideways covering up Po's naughty bits. So let's see what that version looks like. I think I can handle some common thieves. Well, a couple monkeys just stole your pants. Huh? Reacts, cut, eat. Jen's gone, and we stay on Po. Because of this spear that has higher contrast now because of all the shading, your eye actually sticks here even more than being pulled by the motion. The contrast is overriding the motion. This, to me, I thought was the strongest version of the gag I'd had yet. But I even did one more little tiny thing. Since they were walking, I had Jen continue her motion in this shot so that on the cut, she'd actually be farther away from him, closer to this barrel, just to make sure that her eye wouldn't be drawn away with her. Watch this version one more time. Well, guess what? A couple monkeys just stole your pants. Huh? Po reacts, cut. My eyes stayed on Po the whole time there. Even though it was a fairly straightforward gag, it took a little bit of experimentation to create that pop and get the biggest laugh possible for that gag.